aka Diz, and this is The Force Always.
Okay, so welcome to the Star Wars news. Let's get on with it. Later on in the show, The Mandalorian Season 2, Chapter 10, Episode 2, all those numbers will be calculated in a review. The actual episode is called The Passenger. That will be later on in the show, so stick around for that. That's The Mandalorian, The Passenger review later on in the show in the review section. So let's get on with more Star Wars news. This week has been a really big week for the United States of America election. And so really the Star Wars news has been a minimal, but it has appeared here and there. But what I found quite interesting, if you look very closely at the USA election, Trump has got red theme in his look, and Biden has blue. So does that make Biden a Jedi and Trump a Sith Lord? I don't know. That's not my opinion. Basically, here in Australia, we sort of see Trump as a bit of a character. And Biden, well, from what we can understand, there's not much to be offered there. But that is what's been happening pretty much this week. Besides Star Wars news, but that's dominated the news anyway, and it's still not decided to this point. But let's get on to with more Star Wars news. A new poster has arrived for The Mandalorian. It's actually of Boba Fett, the person who is wearing the Boba Fett outfit in the episode, chapter 9, which is episode 1 of season 1, season 2 of The Mandalorian. So check that one out anyway. So that's pretty much the Star Wars. Oh, so one more piece of news. Ron Howard has put himself into the limelight by sort of announcing that there's nothing actually in the works for Solo 2, or Make Solo Happen, or whatever you want to call it. But he said that the possibility is still there, but nothing actually is in effect. But him saying that may turn some heads in the Disney head office and may cause a possible second episode. I was a fan of the first one, Solo. I thought it was good. I didn't think it was great, but it was good, very good, great action, great sort of adventure. It was personally up there. Unfortunately, it just didn't really fare well at the box office. But anyway, that is the Star Wars news for this time around. Let's get into the views. Views this time around is a story idea on my behalf. It's always about my story ideas within Star Wars. Because we had and this is a spoiler. Just hold on. This is a spoiler for The Mandalorian. If you don't want to hear it, please turn away now. At the end of episode 1, which was chapter 9 of season 2, The Mandalorian, again, all those numbers is just insane. But anyway, we saw Boba Fett, or the character that we think is going to be Boba Fett, appear at the end of the episode. So we're going to possibly see the Mandalorian hook up with Boba Fett and to see how things go. Should it be a friendly partnership, or should it be enemies? Personally, in my opinion, my story idea is that they should be enemies to start off with, and for a long time to come, eventually making peace with each other. Because technically Boba Fett, to some people out there, may think is a Mandalorian, but he's not a Mandalorian. The whole story of why, when, how is not being explained, but my story idea is that he rebelled against the guild, which is the Mandalorian, and went out on his own to make it for himself, and he sort of got pretty big with the clones and stuff like that, if you're really going to dive into where Boba Fett came from. And I think he sort of was a little bit greedy and went against the Mandalorians and sort of became his own sort of version of what the Mandalorian is, but within himself and his family. That's what I think. So I do think they should start off to be sort of enemies, always bickering, not with a sinister way, but just sort of bickering, not comedically, but just a bit more rough and tough, but not overly serious. But that's my story idea. I think Boba Fett and the Mandalorian should be enemies to start off with, eventually turning good with each other and becoming stronger than ever. Anyway, that's my story idea. Let's get into the reviews. Reviews is, again, let's go through these numbers. Season 2, Chapter 10, Episode 2, which is called The Passenger. I'm going to straight off the bat say 6.9 out of 10. It was interesting. It was good. When I say good, it was okay. It really did have an Empire Strikes Back feel. Now, what do I mean by that? Yes, it had an icy planet, but this way the story ran, it was very slow paced. Yet it had great sets, and that to me was a lot about Empire Strikes Back, and obviously the icy planet. But I just thought it almost was like a filler episode that probably down the track we're going to find that it's not a filler episode. It was sort of an unnecessary sort of halt in the journey of the Mandalorian and obviously the child, which is Baby Yoda. But it was good. It was good. I think that there will be sense made out of it. I thought the frog was a bit childish. Aspects to it was okay. I thought it's really cringing when a human speaks alien. I know if alien speaks human, we should all cringe, but we're accustomed to that. But when a human speaks alien, it's real cringeworthy, and it happened again in this episode. Not as much, just a little. The only other part that I'll say that was a bit unfortunate, I think there was a lot of Baby Yoda cute moments they were really pushing hard with, but still to see Baby Yoda is always good. He's always a bit of fun. But anyway, 6.9 out of 10. It still, got me captivated. It just didn't have an ending that sort of leads into the next episode, which each episode should do that, but they didn't do it in this time. It's good to sort of maybe skip a beat or two. But anyway, 6.9 out of 10 for The Mandalorian, Season 2, Chapter 10, Episode 2, The Passenger. Anyway, let's get into interviews. That's interviews DQ. That's 2 questions I asked myself for you guys. Like last week, I spoke about some Star Wars sneakers, and I sort of did a bit more investigation with this. And look, my first question: what's another Star Wars sneaker that is good? It's this one here. It's called the Mandalorian. I think it's an NMD Adidas model. Again, it looks really good because it's not overly gimmicky, childish. It actually just looks like a really cool sort of coloured type of sneaker. That's one I thought that was very good and relevant to now, being the Mandalorian. And my second question is, what is another cool Star Wars sneaker that I found? And yet again, it's another Mandalorian-related sneaker. It's this one here. It's the black shell toe, as we call it, I think here in Australia, maybe in America. The black shell toe version of the black saber from the Mandalorian and technically the Clone Wars. But this is called the black saber, and it's a shell toe. It's very old school. It's got that Run DMC sort of look. But that's another cool Star Wars sneaker. Anyway, you can get those 2 sneakers at goat.com. You can even get them at flightclub.com. Both are great sites. I find Flight Club a little bit less in availability with a number of items, but Goat has more availability. The price is pretty much the same, but these 2 pair of sneakers are quite pricey. I think they're American prices, so just watch out for that one. Anyway, that's the interviews TQ for this time around. I'm here on a weekly basis. Star Wars news, views, reviews, interviews of all types. Subscribe to the channel, The Force Always, only on YouTube. contact me via YouTube with a message, or even the Twitter, which is labeled down here, my address, and even the Instagram. And until next time, and I should just, one more moment before I get to that last full stop, I finally got the Black Series Yoda, Baby Yoda in the mail. It's great. It's actually smaller than the Ushis I've been going on about, but it is seriously small, seriously funky, smaller than I thought, but here it is. Check it out. But until next time, my friends, keep rocking.